Morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good morning and welcome. I'm Lori Maida, and I co-direct the Davis program with Ken Schrickle. It's a pleasure for us to be here today to showcase the work of the Davis Scholars, a group of very bright students from the United States and around the world. All of them have excelled academically, and many are moving on to some fine four-year institutions like NYU, Cornell, UC Berkeley, Cooper Union, UPenn, George Mason, Binghamton, Georgia Tech, Lehman, and Pace. Not only are these students academically gifted, but they're exemplary world citizens. They've worked diligently throughout the year on various community service projects, and I'm confident that you'll get a sense of their commitment after you see their presentations. Recent research indicates that community service is positively correlated to greater individual happiness and better health. It turns out that doing things for others is a powerful way to boost our own happiness as well as those around us. Scientific studies show that helping others increases life satisfaction, provides a sense of meaning, increases feelings of competence, improves mood, reduces stress, and increases overall health and longevity. I'm happy to report that the Davis Scholars are a very happy, healthy bunch of students. They're proof that everyone can do something, whether down the street or around the world, to reach out, support, and help others. We thank Mrs. Davis and the Davis family for giving these scholars the opportunity to study and to serve. That generosity has allowed them to develop the social consciousness and leadership skills that our society so desperately needs. Kent and I are very proud of the work they've done, and now I'd like to turn the program over to our students. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Crystal Dorsey. This is Shahada Zayud, Jalicia Diaz, and Nadine Brown. We are the members of Link to Unity. Throughout this academic year, we've worked with Neighbors Link. Neighbors Link is an organization that provides education and employment opportunities to immigrant families and individuals in the northern Westchester County. Their mission is to strengthen the whole community by actively enhancing the healthy integration of those immigrants. To help them with such integration, we designed a project with the mission to create a multicultural environment for the children at their center in Mount Kisco. The content of this project can be summarized in games, arts and crafts, and science experiments.
So musical chair is a great game to use to break the ice and get to the children. And then pen and a bottle requires teamwork. Working as a part of team would improve the social skills and communication skills of the child, and also can improve confidence. Puzzle competition is a great game to use to improve the eye and the hand coordination of the child, as also while children observing the pieces of the puzzle and put them in the right position. Then building a bridge can give the opportunity to the child to be creative, as well give the satisfaction for the child of making design of their own. The cultural games, we have Trouvle Bongle from Haiti, which is a paperclip is hidden on one of the players, and another player looks for it while all players are singing to give clues. And then Riola from Ecuador, which is jumping from one square to another while pushing a stone, similar to a hopscotch game. And then Truba Chakwa, which is two sets of numbers are written on a piece of paper in random order, and the players take turns of connecting the numbers without touching any lines or numbers. And then cardinal from Haiti, which is four cardinal points, south, east, north, west. Each are occupied by a player, and the player in the middle try to get one of the points while the players are switching points. And then piñata to celebrate Hispanic heritage. And then dance, game, and karaoke, which children choose which song or they want to dance on.
This semester I worked on several art projects with the kids. We created paintings of various different images, as well as Valentine's Day cards. We used acrylic paint and plain 8x12 paper as our medium to create these paintings. For the Valentine's Day cards, we used the same type of paper and made hand-shaped cards and markers for decoration. The process of getting the kids to commit to the task at hand was a bit challenging at first, but we eventually won them over, and candy was a good incentive. When I was able to get their attention, they followed instructions pretty well. In my opinion, they were more receptive to the paintings because they had more of a creative freedom. The biggest challenge I faced was patience. I didn't have much experience dealing with younger kids besides my family members. I wasn't accustomed to their sudden outbursts of energy and the time it actually takes to guide and teach them. During the course of this semester, I learned a lot about these children as well as myself. With patience, much can be accomplished, and this is something that I will continue to work on in the future. Thank you.
In working with the children, we aim to instill a love of science by stimulating their natural curiosity. By using common household products and recycled items, the children were taught complex concepts of science in a fun, easy to understand, and hands-on approach. The projects enable the children to explore science and engineering. They were introduced to polymer chemistry by making their own bouncy balls from laundry booster and glue. Creating their own glow-in-the-dark items from vitamins, tonic water, and laundry detergent taught concepts of phosphorescence, luminescence, and the spectrum of light. And by building balloon cars from cardboard and old bottle caps, they saw firsthand how powerful a little puff of air can be. However, far more important than what we taught the children is what they have imparted to us. The children of Neighbors Link taught us how to truly live in the moment, to act a little silly, and to be blind to our differences, both in color and in culture.
We would like to thank Mrs. Kathryn W. Davis for giving us the opportunity to be part of such a wonderful program. The WCC Scholarship Foundation, especially Mrs. Sandra Ramsey, for being the channel through which this opportunity reaches us. Our co-directors, Dr. Lori Maida and Professor Ken Trickle, for their devoted guidance and support. And the Neighbors Land community, especially Mrs. Gail Hudson and Mrs. Inez Gonzalez, for giving us the chance to be part of the amazing work being done at their facility. With them all, we created that link to unity. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Lopez Flores, and I would like to introduce you to conjugation, Lisa Patterson, and Leslie Sandoval Lopez. We are POWER, promoting outstanding wellness and economic resources. Our mission grew from a combination of our sense of commitment and our desire to bring our groups resources and information that up to that point was probably unknown to them. The four of us come from different backgrounds and diverse communities, which made it possible to make the connections. At the same time, it made it more of a challenge because it categorized our audiences into a very broad spectrum.
After brainstorming our project, each member chose the topics which would benefit for our communities. Then, we made a different curriculum for varied age groups. As our core topics, we chose Pay Yourself First, Basic of Borrowing Money, 2-year credit, and Power of a Compound Interest. We reached out many different community organizations. For example, Lisa volunteered at Greystone Foundation. Brenda and Leslie frequently connected with their Hispanic communities. For me, through my Korean friend's introduction, I was able to reach out Korean church. After discussing with the different organizations, we discovered that many communities were lacking essential and basic financial information. They did not have enough resources to help them plan for their financial futures. Therefore, we was inspired to do a series of their financial workshops. For example, our first presentation was in Korean church in Tarrytown. Our audience were all teenagers, either still in high school or moving on college. Here, we focused on saving for college and starting their retirement plan.
We faced many challenges. We had to serve various age groups. Our material had to be understandable for teenagers, stay-at-home moms, and non-native English speakers. We served people who were not familiar with financial terms. Our group had to travel to many locations based on the times that our audiences were available. Our group traveled to New York City, Putnam, and Westchester counties. We also had a challenge with research. Our information had to be thorough, credible, and up-to-date, and obtaining materials and brochures and handouts was very difficult. Also, the challenge with materials, our resources had to be accessible and pertinent to the lives of our participants. But thanks to Ms. Suzanne Matthews, who's the Director of Financial Education here at Westchester Community College, we were able to obtain important basic financial material, which our audience was easily able to understand and relate to. For translations, we also had a problem, and most of our translation had to be on the spot from English to Spanish.
While our communities were our focus, the connections we made while helping families fill out financial aid forms for college continue to fuel our goal. One of our proudest moments was being mentioned in the Westchester Community College's financial newsletter and being introduced as a team of ambitious women who now have a dynamic presentation. We attended a series of financial workshops held by WCC Suzanne Matthews and are now certified in basic personal finance and money management. While our mission is what drove us, the different type of feedback from the participant and program directors is what allowed us to continuously evolve in our original purpose to educate communities in the financial literacy arenas. Positive feedback comments solidified our goal of empowering them with resources, whereas questions on the areas we covered challenged us to continue in our researching those areas of the financial world and modify our presentation to successfully integrate that information into the workshop in anticipation of similar questions in upcoming presentations. Overall, the group's collaborative effort in the areas of relevant and pertinent information for each new set of participants was a success. But by far, the most powerful accomplishment of our project was the support and appreciation we received from the community-based organization directors and the heartfelt thank yous and gratitude expressed by the community members themselves. In conclusion, we would like to thank Mrs. Davis, whose philanthropic mission of supporting students in community colleges nationwide gave us the opportunity to shine. Sandra Ramsey of the scholarship program, who is an instrumental part of the scholarship committee who handpicked the Davis Scholars recipients. Professor Trickle and Dr. Maida, our mentors, and when we doubted ourselves, became our most fervent supporters of our strengths and capabilities. And last but not least, the community-based organization directors who welcomed us into their communities and believed in us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisbeth Falsetti. I would like to introduce you to Nicholas Lee, Ken Fong, and Ryan Haslauer. Our project focused on SAT math tutoring. The purpose of our program was to provide math tutoring services for Latino students seeking college admission. We specifically target first-generation Latino students currently attending high school. In order to make this program possible, we had the collaboration of Latino U Access. Latino U Access is an organization that promotes college enrollment among first-generation Latino students through advocacy, community education, and student workshops. Their mission is to increase college enrollment and competition by empowering students with the knowledge and support they need in order to successfully navigate through the college process.
Originally, our program was designed to help GED students take the placement test in our school. However, because we didn't have enough students, we had to switch gears, and we came up with this whole new idea of teaching high school students to take the SAT exam. And this time, with this new program, we could promote even more reaching out to the different high schools, and so we could promote even more our program. So we had an increase in the number of students. As full-time students, we had a really tight schedule, and at the same time, our SAT preparation was 2 hours in a row of intensive math course. So we had to manage our time wisely and efficiently, and at the same time, get the class engaged through consistent participation. And the program itself, it was held on Mondays from 3:30 till 5:30, 2 hours consecutively, and in 2 different locations, in White Plains Library and in the Austin Extension Center. The number of classes were 11 classes, which 2 of them were for examinations, and we had a total of 13 students in White Plains and a total of 9 students in Austin. And the topics that we covered were number and operations, algebra and functions, geometry and measurement, and data analysis, statistics, and probability. Thank you.
After listening to the brief description of our program, why don't we take a look at our outcomes? We measure our program by comparing 2 different test scores. During the 5th and the 10th class, we implement 2 SAT math clubs. Students take the exam and we grade them. Based on our data, students perform better in their second test than the first test. On average, students increased 12% and the median increased 11%, and the mode jumped from 56 to 67, which is significant, and we are glad to see that. And we believe it's because of a consistent math practice. During the entire program, students have access to 200 math questions. Students not only improve their math skills, but also some tips and tricks to tackle SAT questions. Here are some testimonials from students. Students love us, and they love math, unusually, and they think the program is really fun, and we believe it's because we implement two different ingredients in the program. First, we implement competition in the class. In every beginning of each class, students will form in a group of 3 to 4 people, and then they compete with each other by doing the math questions. And you can imagine how easy and how engaging they are, and they love to compete. And the second element we implement is a mutual teaching, which means students will come up to the board, explain the questions, do the questions, and teach the class. These not only improve the math skills, but also their presentation skills.
Okay. Latino U College Access, they also had a few words to say about our professionalism and our dedication. They were very impressed by it. Also, as many of the students who are enrolled in their program, they don't have the resources available to take SAT tutoring or any of these professional programs. So they were grateful that we were able to offer such a dynamic and interesting course for such a long period of time to their students, which is something that we found shocking because as this was our first time doing something like this, being in a classroom setting, we felt that if we didn't have a full classroom, we were doing something wrong. But Latino U College Access ensured us that it was the quality over the quantity. And with that, with the small class sizes, we were able to work closely with these students on a one-on-one basis, working with their math. But we were also able to get to know these kids on a personal note. We were able to help them with high school problems and help them through any struggles that they were having. And we were able to build memories that's going to last longer than any quantitative data that we showed you earlier. With that being said, we would like to thank a few people, namely Mrs. Kathryn W. Davis, who without her generosity and support, we wouldn't be here today. Also Sandra Ramsey, the director and administrator of the Scholarship Foundation here. Her and her team spent a lot of hours looking over our applications, ensuring that it was pristine and was in its best condition. So with that, we'd like to thank that. And we also met our lovely co-directors through that, Dr. Lori Maida and Professor Kent Trickle, who from their love of Phi Theta Kappa to their dedication when we hit the wall and we needed to reshape our mission halfway through this program. They were dedicated and they helped us stay strong and change it a little bit. Also, Ms. Eileen McKee, the director of the Welcome Center, who got us in contact with Latino U through an interview, actually, interviewing for a job here in the Gateway buildings, and we kind of hit a wall. We were doing a GED tutoring program. We needed to change gears a little bit. She got us in connection with Shirley Bontempo, who over the winter break and all through January spent a lot of time and a lot of her extra time to make sure that we could get this program up and lifted. And without their help and many other people that we couldn't put on the screen today, we wouldn't have been able to forge the memories that are going to last us a lifetime. So thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stanimir Stoichev, and I have the pleasure to introduce to you a few very dedicated and hardworking people, the members of Willpower. Anastasia Mvula, Joseph Romeo, Richard Brown, Emeko Keke, Xiao Lu Yu, and myself. When we decided to do a social project, we kind of hit a wall because we wanted to do something that's going to make a difference for people, and we decided to help children. but that's not an easy task to accomplish. You cannot just go to children and tell them, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it's going to make a difference for you. It doesn't work like that. So we had to ensure that we can devise a foolproof plan that's going to ensure our success at the end. So we used a few pointers in order to devise such a plan. First of all, we had to consider our goal, which was to make a difference. We had to use the tools that they were used to using, which in our case were crayons and scissors. We also had to work hard, which required lots of sweat and tears. In our case with sports like football, soccer, and baseball. We had to get down and dirty in order to make a difference. Otherwise, it's not doing the work. We had to aim high if we wanted to make a difference for them. And at the end result, we had to have children's hearts filled with love and hope. So we devised a 3-step plan. The first step was to engage the children on a physical level. Through different sports like soccer, football, basketball, we taught them the value of teamwork. In the real world, you need teamwork most of all because you're not alone out there. You always need you always need a little bit of help from somebody. We also taught them that no matter if you win or lose, at the end, it doesn't really make a difference. As long as you give it all, as long as you show what you're made of and make a difference for yourself, you're the winner at the end.
Our second plan was to engage with the kids on a creative level. So our first activity was Cardboard City. So basically with Cardboard City, we had to take the cardboard boxes and we had to cut it out, and the kids basically had to make their own interpretation of what a city would look like. And our second activity was Build a Superhero, in which we had construction paper for the kids to cut out and make their own interpretation of what a superhero would look like and what powers they would have. And our third activity is Prize Possession. So we had the kids line up and they had to basically bring a craft with them from the craft session, and they had to show the other kids the rules onto making those crafts. So as an end result, we wanted the kids to interact with each other on the social level and sort of give them a break in their schedule, aside from having to do the same thing each and every day. And in conclusion, with Jodian, who was one of the people that I worked with, I made a lasting impression on him because without him, when I was working with him on homework, he said that without me, he wouldn't have had anyone to help him finish his homework, which I thought was very valuable. And with the kids, they got to know each other better through uses of the activities, and we thought that was a lasting impression. Now going on to our next speaker.
Now let me please introduce the third aspect, academic level. Considering the situation of the children in homeless shelter, it's very hard for the staff there to teach them everything with such a big group of children. We all agree that our major goal is to teach them something. Therefore, we decided to directly help them their homework and improve their academic skills. We tried to combine our personal instruction with independent learning to ensure children not only understand those homework concepts, but also try to know how to apply those skills, which is a deeper level of learning. The biggest part is to help math homework, pre-algebra and algebra, etc. Sometimes we also encounter some problem like to explain definitions or how to apply an equation because different level of understanding. Therefore, we decided to use different ways to teach, like drawing pictures, telling stories, or using toys to represent mathematical symbols, which help them a better learning and having fun at the same time. Another big part is English skill. Most of our children are from 6 to 9 years old. They can speak English, but they still make many mistakes sometimes. During the homework helping time, we were not only helping their English homework, but we always tried to encourage conversations and always to follow their lead. Therefore, we can make sure they will have plenty of time to enjoy their own conversations in a very pressure-free and supportive environment. After 2 months, they got a much more improvement on their academic skills, especially math and English. every time when we saw they make progresses, we just feel that it is such a beautiful thing worth doing.
When we started to work with Inspirica's youth facility, there were only one adult volunteer for every 5th child. Due to this, not every child received the chance to be heard he or she deserved. Having this in mind, it became of great importance to us to build caring relationships, as well as giving every child a chance to be heard. In the beginning, we faced a lot of challenges. It was difficult to gain the children's acceptance and respect, but we overcame the challenges and built an environment of trust and common respect. Our goal was to provide educational, recreational, and social interaction opportunities for the children at Inspirica. So we did. We read out to them, we helped with spelling, we studied math together, we played hard, we played and laughed together. We gave as much as we could to each and every child. It makes us very proud that we worked hard to make a difference, to help the children at the facility to improve their self-concept and lift up their self-esteem. We hope that they will utilize everything what they learn from us, since we definitely will what we learn from them. I want to thank Mrs. Kathryn Davis. Without her generosity, we wouldn't be here, and without her faith in community students. I want to thank as well Mrs. Sandra Ramsey, WCC Director of the Scholarship Committee, and I want to thank as well Dr. Laurie Maiden and Professor Ken Trickle, who gave us the guidance and the support that we needed to finish our project. And we want to thank as well Curtis and Kelly Letter from Inspirica. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We are Community Connection Kids. My name is Jay Rivera, and what I would like to do is take the opportunity to introduce you to 4 students that I have had the great opportunity to consider friends and also teammates. To my left, Isaac Tejera, Kevin Bernal Carpentero, Kati Cotobatres, and Zoira Mamani. As the name of our program states, we really start with a community. Namely a very small community of Guatemalans that moved to the area of Brewster around the mid to late 90s. This population continued to grow exponentially, and with that population also came other groups from Ecuador, Mexico, and other areas of Central and South America. This community became disconnected, largely because of a lack of interaction between the two social groups. To my right are some of the news headings that occurred as late as 2009, which really kind of highlight some of the conflicts that existed among the community. A wonderful program was created, however, to address this, and this was called Community Connections, which was started by one of our local professors, Professor Judy Morano, who's in attendance today. It sought to integrate the immigrant population, but not solely through teaching them English, but really through assimilating into the culture, teaching them conversational skills, things that they would use in everyday practical life. This was conducted at the Old Town Hall in Southeast, and directly across from it was a new program which was called Community Connection Kids. Our focus was to address another issue. The parents were learning English, however, many times they didn't have any place to bring their children. So while they were trying to learn, they had their children with them, which at times could be a distraction. What we provided was a curriculum that engaged the children, directly across from their parents actually, in a local library, where they would practice their English through the use of arts and crafts, through games, and through helpful interaction. So what are some of the things that our children did? You'll learn very soon.
Good morning, everyone. The curricula we developed were art-based as part of our mission. We believe that the 3 most important curricula we created were used to develop children's imagination and social skills. In the first curriculum, we made name tags. It was a good introduction to the program, and we also got to know the kids. It was still winter at this point, so we played educational games that dealt with identifying winter activities, as well as teaching about winter clothing. These little games were very good icebreakers for the kids to become familiar with us. For the next curriculum, we introduced mosaics. The kids learn about life cycle and photosynthesis. We made mosaics using a variety of seeds, and we talked about the process of photosynthesis. We explained that the plants needed seeds, water, sun, and insects to be nourished. We also taught the kids about the importance of healthy competition and ambition through mimicking the Marshmallow challenge. We divided into groups and distributed limited amounts of spaghetti, marshmallow, masking tape, and string. The challenge was to create the tallest standing structure in a time frame. This helped develop team building and communication skills. It taught them by cooperating, they would reach their goal. In addition, before starting a certain activity, we encouraged the older kids to finish their homework while we assisted them. At the end of every session, we emphasized that everybody helped clean up.
So in order to evaluate the impact of the program, we wonder, well, how can we quantify the effect that we've had in the community? And we decided to do a survey for the adults. So the results of the survey were very, very positive. Everyone was very satisfied with the program. Not only that, it was recommended a lot of the times, which increased the number of both adults and children. And another thing that was important was that all the participants intend to continue going to their classes, which was something perhaps very difficult before when they didn't have someone be taking care of their children or teaching their children. And now they were able to do that. So they were able to give continuity to their English studies. And three of the most important, I think, impacts that this program had on the adults, because we not only develop a curriculum for the kids, we were also rotating and being teaching assistants for Professor Judy Morano, which I think she was grateful for, because it's hard to deal with sometimes 15, 20 students. And I think the message gets across better when you have someone helping you. And some of the quotes or some of the things that the adult students mentioned were that they've improved their English skills, which they need for their jobs. Sometimes it's very hard for them to communicate with their boss. And we were very grateful that we were able to have that effect. Not only that, but also communicate better with their own children. Sometimes it's funny, but their own children know more English than they do. And there's a dichotomy there that we were able to kind of close. And yep.
Hi everyone, good morning. Well, towards the beginning of working in conjunction with Judy Morano in Brewster, we faced a few challenges. These included unfamiliarity, maintaining the group together, maintaining the children engaged, and finally, the limited interaction amongst the children. Unfamiliarity played a major role at the start of the program. There was a lot of crying involved when we separated them from their parents. In addition, not knowing each child's personality made it difficult for us to approach every individual in a suitable way. This also challenged us to understand the group's dynamic. Fortunately, as we all became better acquainted with each other, it became much easier to plan activities tailored to meet everyone's needs, and things began to resolve themselves. The age gap also proved to be an obstacle. The older kids were able to concentrate on their projects for much longer, while the younger kids were distracted very easily and prone to wander around. We overcame this by developing activities that would include everybody and that did not extend for too long. Over time, we made sure to include a game involving physical activity or even just some free time in general as a way to end each session. Ending each session with some leisure time had a positive effect on the level of interaction between the children. Those who came with their siblings would only interact amongst themselves and not with the other children. We incorporated the games. Once we incorporated the games, we began noticing more interaction within the group. They began to open up a bit more and began expressing themselves, not only verbally, but through the projects we all participated in. Furthermore, as they practice self-expression on a regular basis, we saw an increase in their self-esteem levels. One particular case involves Vero, a toddler who was accompanied by her highly extroverted older sister. She used to disassociate herself from the group and was easily irritated. By the end of the program, she constantly participated in all the activities and started showing pride in her work. We strongly believe that this project has had a positive impact, not only on the adults, but on their children as well.
Our program was so successful that it was featuring an article in the Putnam County Courier newspaper. Our encounter with the children was an amazing life experience. Our group faced multiple challenges, starting with the fact that most of us did not have any experience working with children. It takes very specific set of skills to be a good child care worker, but most important, we were eager to learn the best way to teach and interact with them. The most challenging day of the program was the first day. We did not know how many children were coming, their ages, or how well our curriculum was going to engage them. Through the sessions, we learned the children like and dislike, their fears and their personalities. Most of the time, it was the same group of children who attended: Carlitos, Jose, Valeria, Veronica, Jeffrey, Amberly, Sunam, and Tashi. Each session lasted an hour and a half. It may seem short, but it was always a task to keep the children focused on what we were doing. Therefore, we learned that we needed to have multiple activities rather than just one per session. We really enjoyed working with these children because the experience made us feel younger again.
We would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Sandra Ramsey, the director and coordinator of the scholarship program. This program really made it possible for us to be here in front of you today. We'd like to also thank especially Professor Ken Trickle and Dr. Lori Maida. Their dedication and the encouragement that they provided every one of us has really helped these presentations that you see today come to fruition. Professor Judy Morano, your passion is infectious, and your desire to help community is something that is really something to be admired. Norma Pereira, essentially you're a co-director because you helped us, just as much as well, and we thank you for all of your interactions. Eric Gross was actually the reporter who was kind enough to come and to visit us and to actually publish our work, and also our foundation members. Most importantly, we'd like to thank, of course, Kathryn W. Davis. She's unable to be with us, as we know. We're so thankful for the heartfelt generosity that she has extended to this school and to programs like these. She has made our dreams a reality, and through community service projects like this one, you really see the impact that we can have as individuals and also as a community. Thank you.
On behalf of Dr. Maida and myself, and on all of the scholars present today, thank you for coming. There will be light refreshments served just across the hall. Please join us if you can. Thank you.